Hello, young lads. Welcome back to the show. I am sitting here with my Starbucks. I literally just got back from a dentist appointment, and tomorrow I have an OBGYN appointment. Can you say double whammy? Like who books those appointments in the same week? Or am I brilliant for knocking them out at the same time? We're not sure. So anyway, I'm really excited for today's episode because first of all, I'm going to talk about my exact 2026 content strategy. I'm going to give it all away. I'm going to tell you all the juice, all the details. I do not gatekeep on this side of podcasting. So I'm going to tell you everything. However, I have to tell you how this post even came about because I actually put this into a carousel. And the reason that I did this was inside of the Takeover Mastermind, we actually went through and everyone got a partner. And what we did was we went back into everyone's content from Q1 of 2025, and everyone picked 5 pieces from the first 3 months of the year in 2025 that they think that this person should recreate in 2026 in Q1 of 2026. So it's kind of like taking your best from the first 3 months of 2025 and then making them even better, repurposing them and making them better in 2026. And I actually did this with my business bestie outside of the mastermind. And she sent me one of the posts that I made early 2025, which was a carousel where I literally put on the opening slide everything that is working for me on Instagram right now. Instagram is changing in 2025. And I went through everything that is working for me, obviously, and gave away some really good tips. And so she was like, you should recreate this for your 2026 content strategy. And so I did that. And I feel like it was an extremely valuable post, but I wanted to create this because this is my reality right now is I feel really excited about content. And obviously you're probably rolling your eyes yeah, you're a content coach. It should feel fun, but I'm also a human being. And sometimes I want to rip my hair out when it comes to content. Sometimes you just feel that lull or that blahness when it comes to social media. And right now I'm the total opposite of that. I'm super excited about everything that I'm posting. I'm excited about my ideas. And I've always wanted to I'm certified OCD. And if you know what it's like to be an entrepreneur, it's not easy to have OCD as an entrepreneur. It is, when you have OCD and you're in the 9-to-5, the corporate world, you thrive. You do excellent. But then you come over to the entrepreneur side and you're everything is messy. There are no SOPs. You have to create them. There is no routine. You have to create it. There is no schedule. You have to create it. All of these things you have to put them in place and you have to follow the plan. So when it comes to content strategy, I've always wanted a content calendar. I've always wanted a strategy, do this, wake up, know what to create. And I've never felt like I had that because it's always been that only worked for so long until now. I'm holy crap, I feel like I cracked the code. So let's get into it because I started this strategy very beginning, actually the last day of 2025 was my first go at creating the strategy, and it's a weekly strategy. And I almost created this post on day 3 of 2026. And then I was okay, now it's day 7. I'm a week in. I should create this post. And then definitely by day 12, I was I can't ignore what's happening anymore. I need to talk about this, but then I didn't. So I needed to know if it was real. Part of my coaching core values, if you will, is I really like to test my own strategy first before I give it away, before I teach it to my clients or to you. So I was testing to make sure okay, is this going to work in week 3? And lo and behold, it was sustainable. And it's not just this shiny, cute strategy that works for a week and then crashes. It really is solid. So I waited 18 days to be exact. And I fit 3 weeks into that. And now I'm ready to tell you everything because 18 days into 2026, my reach, my visibility, my profile visits, my external link taps, all the things that we want to see growing are up insane amounts, insane percentage points. And I'm really proud of that. I will also just full transparency, I don't really pay attention to those numbers. unless I'm doing something like this where I'm like, I need to make sure that this quote unquote works. I don't want to just be like talking fluff and telling you to do something that has no proof. So sometimes I pay attention to these statistics just out of pure experimentation, really. And so my hypothesis was that this was going to work. And then I was able to put it to test. And now I'm going into like the scientific theory. I did study, I do have my degree in pre-med. So I do speak science. And this is like a true experimentation. And before you roll your eyes and you think like, great, another vanity metric to chase, like now I have to pay attention to my numbers. I'm going to tell you that you don't have to do that. Like, let me just tell you I did it for you so that you don't have to. And I also want to tell you that by paying attention to these numbers, I have defined what visibility actually does for my business, actually will do for your business. Visibility is one of those things where in the online coaching space industry, it's like everyone knows that you need visibility, but we go about it in such strange ways. Like we think we need to be on these big stages. We think we need to go be a guest on everybody's podcast. And yes, those things are really fun and really important. But like, why are we overlooking visibility in social media? It's like you're posting to social media every single day. If you want visibility, go get visibility. And you should want it. Like you should want to be seen. Like I have good stuff to share. Like I want to be like, I'm very passionate about what I teach. I feel like the entire world should be listening. So here's what most people get wrong about visibility. They think like, okay, the goal stops at getting a lot of views, or the goal stops at getting a lot of followers or comments. Like that's where the goal post ends. Like that is what I'm reaching for. That is the finish line. And that is actually where they go wrong, because getting those views, getting the new followers, getting the comments, getting the DMs, that is actually the starting line. That is like yes, that's the goal, but that's where everything starts. So the vanity metrics will stroke your ego. It's a dopamine hit and it feels really good. But if you don't actually put it to work, if you're not doing what comes next, then it's not going to move the needle for you. So you're getting visible for nothing. But visibility can do something very specific. It can bring people to your profile. And in 2026, I was actually just listening to a podcast on this. Profile visits are the new follower metric. So if you go into you should have like a creator account or a business account. And if you go to like view your own profile and you see the professional dashboard like block that is like just under your bio, it'll tell you how many views that you have in the last 30 days. And that is like the new game. That is the new metric to pay attention to. And no one else can see that but you, just so you know. But if we're being honest, if we're being real, follower counts, like having a lot of followers doesn't mean what it used to mean. It used to like give you credibility. And it used to be like when everybody wanted to be an influencer, it was like, oh, I have this many followers. Now I can connect or collab with so-and-so brand. But someone who intentionally, and I do actually believe, like, let me go back on that. I do actually believe that if you have a higher follower count, it does add credibility. Like, I'm going to just be the one to say it, because it's like, yeah, I think like, I don't know, there's just like this unspoken energy to someone who has a lot of followers. But then if you go into their content and you notice that their followers aren't really engaged, that's like almost worst. It's like, are you a con artist type thing? I mean, no offense. I'm not trying to be super harsh, but you know what I mean? So when someone who like intentionally clicks on your profile to see who you are from seeing a piece of your content, maybe they found it while they were scrolling reels, maybe they found you on the explore page, but there's someone who wants to learn more about what you have going on or what you post or what you do, that is gold. That is pure gold. That's literally a person saying, I need to know if you're the one for me without saying it. But if your strategy is aligned underneath all of that, then that visit is going to turn into a conversation and then a conversion. And sometimes that, and when I say conversation, I don't necessarily mean like you're actually having dialogue with this person. Sometimes that is what it will look like. But the conversation is sometimes just simple connection between the viewer and the content that you have on your feed. That client could then turn into a legacy client, meaning that client never leaves your world. So that is the entire strategy. And that can only work if your strategy is aligned. So we're going to get into what that looks like. The shift that I'm taking in 2026, the biggest shift actually is I'm going to be posting less, and when I say posting less, I'm talking about to my feed. I will still be showing up in my Instagram stories every single day. That is something that I do. It's a habit. It is important to me in my business. That is like, if you have the analogy goes like, if you have a brick and mortar and you keep your doors open and your lights on, that's the same as showing up in your Instagram stories. Like, you're keeping like the open sign lit up. However, when we talk about like the feed post or the grid post, I've been posting at least 6 times a week to my feed. And of course, I've missed some here and there, but at least 6 times a week since 2020. That's like 6 years. That's insane. 6 times a week for 5 to 6 years. Like, there is so much power in that consistency. And I'm really proud of that. And I'm never going to deny that that is a massive superpower. Consistency truly like built my business. And it taught me a lot. Like, so I see social media as like this extreme personal development journey. I don't see it as surface level. I don't see it as like egotistical. I truly feel like if you treat social media the right way, especially as a business owner, it can teach you so much about yourself and so much about who you want to become. And the power of consistency taught me discipline in this arena. And it gave me proof that I could show up even when I didn't feel like it in this angle of life. But times have changed. And more importantly, I have changed. I have evolved in my business, in my brand. And I will tell you that I've recognized my ideal client, who is also an entrepreneur. She's not like scrolling Instagram every second of her life. Now, again, this is particular to who I call in. You have to ask yourself these questions for you. But my ideal client, she's not scrolling social media every second of her life. She's busy. Like, she's serving clients, she's building offers, she's selling, scaling, growing, doing all the things. And she's working on her own empire while also, as we all know, like managing the chaos of real life. So why would I create content every single day as if she's glued to her phone when she's not? Like, I'm not doing that anymore. That's not smart. And it's kind of like a waste of my time. So posting less for me is the vibe of 2026. However, when it comes to the actual act of posting, what I create, my intention is to be straight to the point, to be extremely potent, and like to actually have this concept of less is more. She wants the information now. She wants the inspiration now. She wants the motivation. She wants the perspective, the transformation. She wants it quickly, and she wants to consume it right now. So I have graduated from needing to post every single day. Like, I feel like that. Like, I've graduated. I mastered it. Now it's time to level up again. And I want you to hear this part very clearly, because I intentionally chose the word graduated. Everything that I do is very intentional. Like, I feel like I leave subtle cues everywhere, and it's not because I want people to find them. It's just like part of my art. And so I use the word graduated on purpose because I hope it lands with you in a way where it's like, I'm not saying, yeah, no, I'm done being a everyday poster. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I graduated from that because this next chapter is going to look different, but I earned this next chapter. A lot of my clients, I have a good chunk of clients who are in the beginning phases of their business. And I would suggest to them, like, yeah, go post every single day. Like, be present everywhere. Like, be in the face of your ideal client as much as possible. That is like so powerful in my opinion. But what got me here is not going to get me there. So the version of me that needed to post daily for the last 5 years is truly not the version of me running my business in 2026. And this is another question that I have been constantly asking myself, is like, what would millionaire Chan do? How does millionaire Chan run her business? How does she speak? How does she market? What are her consistent superpowers? What is she consistent at? Like, and again, I'm still going to be consistent with content. It's just a different type of consistency. And that's necessary. That is a necessary question to ask. So let's get into what doesn't work for me anymore when it comes to creating content on Instagram or social media in particular. And again, I talk about Instagram a lot, but the skill set that I teach, the tools that I provide, and everything that I know how to do, it's applicable to all platforms. I am on LinkedIn. I am on TikTok. I am on YouTube and YouTube Shorts. Like I'm on Substack. Like I show up everywhere and I do a lot of repurposing, and the skill sets they translate. They transfer is what I was trying to say. So anyway, what doesn't work for me anymore is like waking up and waiting for the perfect idea to land in my brain and in my heart before I create a post. Like that is not strategy to me. That is like, that's being hopeful. That's winging it. And I don't like the winging it is exhausting to me. Like I can't, again, certified OCD. I'm actually like getting really a lot better at this, but I don't like winging it. It makes me uncomfortable. Sometimes, like if I'm on stage, like when I MC the Turn Up conference every summer, a lot of what I do up there is I guess you could call it winging it, but it's more so like feeling the room, the energy of the room. Like if I'm super planned up there, you can tell, and it doesn't feel good. So there's like moments where I feel like I can wing it. But when it comes to like a business generating, revenue generating activity, like creating content, I don't want to wing it. Another thing that is not going to work for me anymore is like feeling anxiety, because I have this, it's like a little Instagram leprechaun on my right shoulder saying, you need to post today. You need to post today. Like I get anxiety from that leprechaun. And then I will go to create something just because I know I need to create something. And it ends up being so freaking mediocre, so average, so boring, so blah. But at the end of the day, I'm like, whatever, I posted something, check the box, I feel productive. That is not Millionaire Chan. That is not leadership. That is truly like performance. And I'm so effing done performing. Like I'm done with it. Okay, there's that. I have actually never even thought of that leprechaun thing, but I feel like you guys can probably relate to that. All right, the next thing is like, I'm done being polite. I actually have a mentor who told me when I first started working with her, she was like, you give in your content, like you give nice girl vibes, like you give nice girl energy. And at first I was like, that's because I am a nice girl. Like you guys, truly at my core, I'm a very kind human. I know that a lot of people might not think that. I've been told that before, and I'm okay with that because it is like, whatever. I'm probably like in deep thought, truly. That's why I have RBF. But I'm a really nice person. Like it takes a lot to make me mean. And that's not me being fake. That's not me shoving anything down. That's truly who I am. It takes more energy for me to get mad and be like mean versus like I would rather just send love your way. Anyway, I digress. In my content, I feel like she had a point where she was like, you're giving nice girl vibes. And I had to ask her, like, can you tell me what you mean by that? Because she's very cutthroat in her content and it works for her. But if I were to try and be like her, it wouldn't work for me because it's like, I don't even think that way. Like again, it's just like, I don't want to try to be something just because that's what quote unquote works. I need to be myself. However, when it comes to me saying I'm being too polite, I do think sometimes I beat around the bush a little bit. And I am very direct. Yes, I'm kind. Yes, I'm loving, but I am also very direct. Like if you're my private client, this just happened the other day. My private client asked me to look at one of her drafts of a carousel, and I sent her a 20-minute voice note back, diving in, tearing this carousel to shreds. I mean, it actually wasn't even bad. It was pretty good. But when you're in my Power Meets Power private clientship, I am going to be direct with you. That's just who I am. And I do the same thing with my closest friends and loved ones. Like I feel like truth is the highest form of love. So anyway, that's what I'm going to put into my content. The next thing that doesn't work for me is like following any sort of rules. Like for the longest time, I had so many different voices in my head of content coaches and social media gurus. And I was trying to follow the rules. Like don't do this, but say that, and don't say this and say that. And it messed with me. So fuck all the rules, pardon my French. But yeah, we're done with the rules. And then the last thing is like, and I've never really been the type of person that focuses on an algorithm. Like I'm not even going to lie to you. I've gone viral more times than I can count. And I've never thought about like the algorithm. I don't know why anyone's talking about the algorithm. No one knows what the algorithm is. Don't even try to crack the code. Like why are we wasting our time? But I'm just going to put that out there. like focusing on the algorithm, putting my energy there, not going to work. Okay. Now let's go into what actually does work. What does work in 2026 is storytelling in every single post. And I don't know how to articulate this any other way, but educational posts are not dead. Let me just start there. Like, creating an educational post is still very much alive. But if you're not doing it in a way where you're telling a story, where there's some sort of intrigue, like if there's a storyline to it, there's a factor of being compelled. There's a factor of, like, I guess storytelling to me is like your ability to evoke emotion in the way that you deliver the message. So anyway, storytelling in every single post, whether that's a past story, a current story, or whatever's on my heart, because my life is the curriculum. Like, that is truly, like, I fully embody what I teach, and I document parts of my life and I tell it in a story. And then I use my journey as the proof, just as I'm doing here. And people, I'm going to tell you right now, like, people are not going to buy strategy from you. They're not going to buy strategy. They're going to buy the transformation. So if you're holding back on telling the story of the transformation and allowing them to see themselves in that story or in your story, then that's where you're missing the boat. It's like, yes, strategy is very important. It's very special. It's part of the recipe, but it's not the full recipe. Okay. The next thing that's working for me in 2026 is being myself and having fun creating my content. Like, holy shit, if you're not having fun creating content, that's your first problem. It needs to be fun. And I don't want to hear like, oh, well, I don't like creating my content, I'm going to hire someone to do it. That's like some bullshit if I ever heard any. It's like, guys, creating content, I don't care who you are, but when you signed up for being a business mentor, or sorry, not being a business mentor, being a business owner, and using social media as your means of marketing, you signed up to be a content creator. If you are bored making your content, they're bored consuming it. So switch it up. What do you got to do to have fun? Okay, the next thing, not feeling the pressure to sell in every single post. Holy crap. This is like the biggest reprieve of my entire life. I do love selling, so I don't find anything wrong with selling. I will still be selling my brains out, but the secret that most people aren't talking about is like their ability to sell is not what's making the sale. Like, I just don't know how to say that in any other way. Their ability to sell and like talk about their offer is not what's getting people to buy. Their subtle ability to nurture is way more powerful than the pitch. So when you combine both, that's when you can skyrocket your sales. So it's not about removing one or the other, but I'm not going to feel the pressure to sell in every single post because I know for a fact, like, just having a call to action is not what's going to do it. I'm going to lean more into like leading with value, leading with presence, being real, having like creating sales that become inevitable because of the nurture portion. Okay, next, knowing exactly who I'm posting for. I am not posting for everyone. I am not here to create content for the masses. I know exactly who I serve. I know the woman who is ready to work with me. I know the woman who is done with being mediocre. She knows that she's meant for more. She hasn't found the person who can show her how to get there by being herself. That is who I'm creating content for. And I could keep going. Like, I know my ideal client very well. And I love her so much. Like, I love her. Like, she's a blast to work with. And so I know who I'm creating content for. And that is another one of those things where it's like hard to explain how much clarity you find when you know who you're trying to serve. The next thing is being a beast at delayed gratification and leaning more into, like I said, that nurture, but delayed gratification being like my new superpower, because anyone can like go for a quick sale. And last year, I think I've mentioned this before, every single month I launched something new, and that was really fun. But what happened was I was going more for like the quick sale, the quick rise, versus like leaning into building a legacy and allowing things to fall into place. Now, I wouldn't do it any other way. Like, I feel like last year in 2025, I learned so much about myself by just taking it month over month over month. And that was really special. But now I'm in this place where I'm a little bit more patient. I'm a little bit more calm. I'm a little bit more trusting. And I'm more willing to plant seeds that aren't going to harvest for months. I'm okay with that. Okay. And then the last thing is having an actual strategy. So this is what we're about to get into, the actual strategy, which is like, it's not like so strict where it's a content calendar and I have very specific things. I'm leaning more into modalities, which I'm going to talk about. And this is not like a vibe. It's not like a feeling. It's an actual strategy. So I'm really excited to talk about what that is. So let's first crack the code on why you should care about this and why content actually matters. So I already talked about the fact that like content is the center of everything, in my opinion. Truly, it is the center of everything, and everything always comes back to content. I hear this all the time, like, Chandler, I just want to build my business. Like, I just want to make money. Do I really have to like be on social media and have a following? And here is what I say back to them. Yes. Like, not very profound. Like, yes, I actually, like, you're not the client for me if you don't want to be on social media. I don't know any other way. Like, especially like, it's so easy. This is a free platform. It's so easy to connect with people, and it's not hard to create content that is easily visible by your ideal client. Content is everything. It's going to determine how much income you're going to make. It's going to determine how many people will join you. It's going to determine how your current clients are going to feel about you. Like, that's another thing. No one talks about this, but your current clients are watching you show up on social media. And the reason that I say that is because I've had a couple of mentors that have, once I've hired them, and it's not because of me, it has nothing to do with me, but once I've hired them, they've completely gone like rogue. Is that the right word? Like they've fallen off the face of the planet of the earth, right? How do you say that? Whatever. You guys know what I mean? Like they've completely gone asleep. They're nowhere to be found on social media, and it made me not want to stay in their world, which is crazy to say. And I don't have anything negative to say about these coaches. Loved them. They played a massive role in my growth, as they all do. But I want to be under mentorship of someone that I look at on social media and I'm like, damn, she's killing it. So your clients want that from you. So again, content is also going to determine how many people go to your sales page. So you can work on your sales page all day, all night. You can hire the best team, the best website developers, spend thousands of dollars. But if no one finds you on social media, they're not going to your sales page, no matter how good your SEO is. Another thing is your social media is going to dictate how many people listen to your podcast. So if you're spending, like I spend at least 2 hours a week on my podcast, if I didn't have a social media following, no one would know about my podcast. So again, you also might have people in your world who are like referring other clients into your spaces because they've had a really good time. They really believe in your coaching. And that referral, the first thing that they're going to do is they're going to go to your social media to check you out. Like, yeah, they trust their friend, but like they want to go see it for themselves. Like, what's this girl got going on in her content? So again, I could keep going. You get the point. At the end of the day, everything always comes back to your content. Your content is your storefront. It is your brand. It's your reputation. It's your sales team. It's your legacy. So yeah, it definitely matters. All right, let's get into it. My exact 2026 content strategy. This is, again, just for my feed and grid content in 2026. And I'm aiming to post 4 times a week. That's it, 4 times per week. And that's like crazy low compared to what my normal goals are. Normally, if I miss like one single day, I start to feel really anxious. So 4 posts per week. And here's what those are going to be consistent of. So I talked to you about how I'm leaning more into modality versus like topics. So I, of course, have, if you listen to the last, I think it's not the last episode, but the episode before that, where I talked about the 3 pillars of content, I know what my content creation topics are like the back of my hand. I know it. I don't ever question what to post. I actually have the opposite problem where I want to talk about everything, like all the time. And so I'm not going to be basing my strategy on those topics, but instead I'm going to lean into modalities. So when I say modalities, I'm talking about like the whether it's a certain type of reel or a certain type of carousel, like that sort of thing. I have those clearly defined. It's all within my body of work as well. So I'm going to talk to you through what these modalities are. There's 4 of them that I'm going to be focusing on. I have many more than 4. When you get into my world, I teach you all of these. The first one is 1 personality post per week. So I'm going to break down what a personality post is. Again, I used to believe that going viral or getting a lot of views wasn't for us. And when I say us, I mean the female entrepreneur using social media as her means of marketing. And the reason that I thought that is because a lot of coaches talk about how they've never gone viral and they've had a lot of success. So I thought to myself, okay, why am I wanting to go viral? Because before I became a business coach, before I even started creating my own business online, I was an influencer. And I went viral all the time. I'm not even kidding. Every single post, this is how I grew to my following to what it is today. But every single reel, every single TikTok would have bare minimum 20,000 views. And that was, in today's world, that's going viral for me. But that was like typical. That was standard for me. I would have thousands of likes. Like that is just how it used to be. And it wasn't even a thing. It was like I didn't even try. Now it's a little bit different because I had this audience full of people who were attracted to that type of content that I was creating back then, which was a lot of fitness, a lot of outfits, a lot of lifestyle content. And then I switched gears into business, and a lot of my audience just was like, that's not really for me, which is okay. I'm rebuilding. Now, I was led to believe that going viral is not a part of the strategy or not something I should desire or want because that's what all the other coaches were talking about. And they would say things like, that's for influencers. Like you going viral is a vanity metric, like let it go. Or like, that's for people who dance on TikTok. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's for people who dance on TikTok. And then I'm like, wait, shit, I dance on TikTok. Anyway, lies, wrong, lies, and more wrong. Like people need to find you, the right people, that is. Okay, so we can talk about like getting visibility in front of the right people. I'm not just going to be doing anything to go viral, but I have a knack for going viral. I know the recipe. I know what it takes. Missing out on that visibility strategy to me is now I'm seeing clearly. It's like if you were a brick and mortar and you didn't have window shopping, like you didn't have the mannequins in the window for people to see what's going on inside of your store. That's what missing out on the visibility strategy would be like if you had a brick and mortar. You would be making it extra hard on yourself for anyone to see you. Like, why would anyone come into your store if they don't see what you have going on? Just a little glimpse. A personality post is not a viral post. So I'm leading with personality. It's designed to get seen. It's designed to get shared. It's designed to introduce me to people who I don't yet know or who don't know me yet, but need to. So it's very particular. It's aligned with my personality. And it does like, it's not all for nothing. So I'm not just sharing something just to share it. And I know that it's going to go viral. I'm not following all the trends. Like, again, this is where you show who you are when you're not selling. This is where you become magnetic, relatable. You humanize yourself beyond the business. You are, at the end of the day, you are a personal brand. And I stand for personal brands all day long because we don't have time for this, but because if you were to ever shift or pivot your niche, for example, if you have a personal brand, you will have no problem selling anything. You could sell dirt. You could sell tables. Like, it doesn't matter. And I have proof behind that. So that's why I stand for a personal brand. Okay. The second modality is a proof of concept post. And most of the time, actually like 98% of the time, I'm doing this in a carousel. And proof of concept is my content language. That is like, you know how you have love languages? Well, I created content languages, and the language that I like speak is proof of concept. And when I say I speak that language, that means when I'm going to invest in a mentor, which I just literally like tossed out 30 grand on my mentor, I look for proof of concept. And if there is no proof of concept, I will not buy. I won't even buy an $11 offer. Like literally, if there's no proof of concept, like don't waste my time. That's not everybody's language, but that's mine. So if it's my language, that is highly likely to be the language that my ideal client speaks. So my goal is to create one proof of concept post every single week. This is where I show people what works in my world and how I help my clients find success. And it's not through some theory. It's not through like perfect messaging. It's not through what I learned in a course or what you're going to learn in my course. It's through actual life. Like I'm literally documenting and showing you proof. I prioritize snapshots as well. Like I love to put that in if you go scroll through my feed, you'll see a proof of concept post within the last 5 posts. But I'm posting client results and maybe sometimes even my own transformation. So that's proof of concept. And it's the bridge between basically someone being interested in my work and then ready to make the investment. And I truly believe this is the tipping point, like proof of concept posts talking about how people work with you and how you help get them results. That is massively powerful. Okay. The third modality is evolution and documentation. So I actually have an entire content membership called The Evolution. I believe in this with my entire soul. I believe in documenting over creating with my entire freaking soul. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. 2026 is the year of documenting. And I don't mean like show us, like take a picture of your bowl of cereal or like post your daily agenda. Like no one really cares about that stuff, truly. Like I'm just going to throw it out there. No one cares. I mean, show us you. Show us like who are you actually? What's going on in your life? What keeps you up at night? What are you working towards? Like you're not dumping everything on us. You're not trauma bonding with us. That's a different type of world. That's not what I'm talking about. But show us like the way that you live your life. Like how do you make certain decisions? How do you hold perspectives? How do you see the world? That is what's going to win this year. Like hands down, that is what's going to set you apart. You can engineer your message as much as you want until you show people who you are. You will not succeed here. Like I just straight to the point because I'm not being polite anymore, remember? Anyway, people are exhausted by perfection. They truly are. They're craving the realness. They want the raw from you. They want it to be unfiltered. And I don't mean like looking messy. I'm talking about show us how you're in progress right now. And I practice this all the time. Like right now I'm doing 25 push-ups a day in January, and I post it to my story every single day. And I created an evolution. You can go find it, an evolution post, a carousel talking about my 25 push-ups a day. And I actually directly tied it to my business. That's another thing is like when you start to think this way, you'll see how every single thing that you do is aligned. Every single thing is tied together. We don't compartmentalize in personal branding. Like everything is connected. And if your ability to showcase that connection, that's what the evolution and the documentation is. It's you becoming in real time. That's what it is. All right. How many have we gone through? Okay, so we're on our last modality. So of the 4 posts, number 4 is the chit chat reel. And this is what most people would call a talking head reel. But like, ew, I don't understand why we call it like talking head. Like what the fuck? What are we doing? They're chit chat reels. Okay. I called them chit chat reels. They are now chit chat reels. Tell all your friends. I've been doing these for years. I've been doing chit chat reels for years, but I would say they're more important in 2026 than they've ever been before. Like this is the post. If you take anything from this, actually, no, that's not true, but take it all. But this is very important. Okay. As we all know, AI, ChatGPT, whatever you use, it's dominating in content right now, like absolutely dominating. And yes, it's very cringe, blah, 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 blah. Like we can talk about all day. Like I know you're using ChatGPT. Everyone knows. I don't even have time to waste anymore calling people out on ChatGPT. It's like, you know, you're using ChatGPT. You know, it's trash. Like, can we just move on? The real conversation is how are you going to win the war against AI in content? The answer is with your voice. Like your actual voice and your face. Chit chat reels. You guys get it? So not the perfectly edited carousel. That's not the thing that's going to overcome AI. Not the professionally shot video where you're walking in slow motion and you feel like a badass. I love those, by the way, but that's not it. Not anything other than your face, your words, your energy, the way that you talk, the things that you talk about. That is what AI cannot replicate. It can't. Even if people try. Like I've seen, oh my gosh, have you guys seen like the AI created human videos, I'm like, what are we doing? That doesn't look real. And no one believes that that's real. That's not good. It's not good. And it's also like, use this to your advantage because AI is so on the rise right now, people are loving human intelligence. It's like, lean into that, leverage the fact that you're a human right now. It's so beautiful. It's a really cool time to be alive. It's a really cool time to be in the world of social media because of this. It's like AI is actually doing us a favor. Take advantage. Whew. Okay. At the end of the day, that is my strategy. So 4 posts a week. We have the personality post, we have proof of concept, we have the evolution and documentation, and we have the chit chat reel. Content is, like I mentioned, a personal development plan on steroids. I know that they say that like entrepreneurship is that, but I think content is that. Like I actually love content creation because of that challenge. It's truly the best personal development plan that I've ever witnessed or experienced ever. And I just feel like content really does teach me where I'm awesome, number one. And we all want to feel awesome. Like that's okay. Like it teaches me where I'm really smart, like where I hold wisdom, like what I'm really good at. But it also teaches me where I can improve and where I can widen perspective and where I can strengthen and sharpen my craft. And this all happens before the engagement comes through. Like again, at the end of the day, I've gotten really good at not valuing, not basing my worth on any sort of engagement. Like I really don't. Like, of course I want a lot of likes. Of course I want a lot of views. I'm just like you. That's normal to want that. But there's some times where I'm like, dude, that was a badass post. And perhaps it was just posted at the wrong time of the day. Like sometimes I will literally tell myself that, and then I'll repurpose it. I'll come back and I'll make it better and I'll post it again. Like that's true. That's the game here, guys. Like I'm not going to let nobody dictate my worth except myself and my reflection in the mirror and the loved ones that are super close to me and know every single crevice of me. But at the end of the day, like there's no amount of likes or views that's going to make me, like, again, let's take our ego out of this a little bit. When I sit down to create, I learn what I actually believe. Like, are you guys treating it that way? Because I'm literally learning what I'm willing to stand for, what I'm willing to let go of, and what I'm willing to become and evolve into. And I create content at the end of the day. Like, do you understand? Like, have you ever asked yourself, why do I create content? Truly. Like, ask yourself that question. Why do I create content? If the answer is only to sell people and to get more clients, we have a problem. Like, that's a true problem. Because content is an extension of your business. So is your business like set up just to burn and churn people into your world? Like, come on. I create content to support my legacy. When I have kids one day and they look back on all my social media, I want them to be like, holy shit, my mom is like this profound, deep, wise, badass bitch. That is what I like. Again, I think about these things. Like, this is my legacy. I create content that I want to feel proud of. Do you? So again, I've created content from many different lenses. I've been a network marketer, which I've mentioned many times. I built a 6-figure network marketing business. I was very successful. That was at the time of my life. I had so much fun doing that. I was also an influencer, which I also had fun with, but even like someone like me who's like obsessed with clothes and shopping and like girly things, I got overwhelmed with the amount of boxes that were sent to my house. I'm not even kidding. It was too much. That's not why I quit doing that. I really felt like being an influencer, to me, I felt like there was no massive impact or connection with people that I really wanted to make. I've done UGC work where I've created content for brands and it had nothing to do with me, but I sent it to them and I got paid for it. I've done, brand collaborations. I'm a coach and I'm a business owner, so it's a different lens. But at the end of the day, I know social media. I have a combined 180,000 followers, subscribers across all platforms. That's a lot of people. I've actually been recognized in Starbucks and like other places for my social media. I know social media. I know the game. I know how it's ever evolving. I know how it's always changing. I love that part of it. And it's also very important to keep up with that part of it without letting it dominate you, without letting it consume you, without being obsessed with the quote unquote algorithm. Because the thing is, social media is a tool. You guys should see me talking right now. I'm like pointing at you. with love. But like social media is a tool. It's not the boss. It shouldn't dominate you in that way. You are the boss. You are the dictator of your business. So when you're ready to find your own strategy for 2026, when you're ready to create content that actually means something to you, when you're ready to stop wasting your time with like these plug and play templates and say this and say and not that type of coaching, the type of coaching where it's like, well, this worked for me, so it should work for you. Like, I do not vibe with that. When you're done with all of that, that's when you'll hire me, because I'm not going to teach you the formula and tell you you have to stay plugged into the formula for the rest of your life. I'm actually going to teach you the formula with the intention of stay in this framework, stay in this formula so that you can eventually set yourself free and do it better than I ever could. I teach you how to think. I teach you how to strategize. I teach you how to become the kind of person that creates content that converts without compromising who you are at your core. I think it's important to start with the frameworks and understand the concepts, but then I think it's really important to teach you how to color outside of the lines. And I actually expect all of my clients to create content better than I create content at some point in time, because it's like one of those things where it's like when you learn from the expert, your job is to master what the expert taught you and then turn it into your own and do it 10 times better. So there it is. That's my exact 2026 content strategy. That is the one that I've waited 18 full days to share because I needed to know that it was real. I needed to have proof that it works, and I have it. So anyway, I also wanted to add this. I know this is becoming a long episode, but I feel like I need to say that my content strategy works because I know who I am. It's not because I'm more special or because I look a certain way. It's not because I have some secret algorithm hack. It's not because I do a specific thing in my content. It's because I know who I am. And it's because I'm always learning more about who I am. And it's because I know who I'm talking to. And it's because I put all of that in alignment with what I create, with what I post. And that's it. That's the whole game. So I don't know how else to end this. I'll see you next time. If you are new to this show, thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, please feel free to share it to your Instagram stories and tag me. Please give a 5-star review or leave a comment or whatever. That would honestly mean the world to me. And I can't wait to see you in the next show next week. I'm also going to drop the little content language quiz because I know I talked about my content language. If you're like, I want to know what my content language is, I'm going to drop that quiz below in the show notes. It's free. You can take that quiz and you can define what your content language is. And I would love it if you DM'd me and let me know which language you got. My quiz doesn't show me the results for specific people. So I'm always very intrigued by what everybody's language is. All right. I love you so much. Have the best day ever.